सो हेलो एवरीवन एजुज्ञान रो जो ओडिशा सिविल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन पाई प्रिलिम्स रो टेस्ट सीरीज लॉन्च हेतिला तार टेस्ट 9 आज हम डिस्कशन करिबा। सो दिस इज प्रेजेंटेड बाय गुप्तेश्वर सर। ओके, so starting with first question, a ruler of Kashmir who was also known as Akbar of Kashmir was Jain ul Abidin. Fine. Jain ul Abidin. Jain ul Abidin was the 8th Sultan of Kashmir. He is one of the few rulers to have reigned for more than 50 years. Okay, and he is also considered several steps for the welfare of his subjects. He had a liberal religious policy and promoted literature, art and architecture, earning him the nickname of Akbar of Kashmir. The next question, which among the following ruler abolished jizya or jizya for the first time? So it is Jain ul Abidin. Okay, Jain ul Abidin. Jain ul Abidin एबे हमें कथा होतिले कि 8th Sultan of Kashmir and ruled for more than 50 years, considered several steps for welfare of his subjects. He had a liberal religious policy. तांकर इंटरेस्ट थिला लिटरेचर, आर्ट, आर्किटेक्चर आउ तांको अकबर ऑफ काश्मीर भी कुआ जाउथिला। फाइन, और कुआ जाए he abolished jizya or jizya for the first time. Who among the following scholars was not in the court of Kumbha? Okay, so this is Munijin Vijayasuri. Munijin Vijayasuri was not there. Maharana Kumbha or Kumbhakarn. Kumbhakarn. Okay, he was born on Makar Sankranti day. Parents were Maharana Mokal and Queen Sobhagya De. He was 16-year old when he became the Maharana of Mewar in 1433 century. His architectural era is known as the Golden Period, and the world famous Kriti Stambha located in Chittur was established by Rana Kumbha. Fine. Then next question, Bahmani state was established by which of the following rulers? Okay, so it was established by Alauddin Hasan. Bahmani state was established by Alauddin Hasan. Bahmani kingdom was a Muslim state of the Deccan in southern India and was one of the great medieval Indian kingdoms. It was founded by Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah in 1347. It was the first independent Islamic kingdom of South India. Independent Islamic kingdom. Remember this one. First independent Islamic kingdom in South India. The Bahmani capital was Ahsanabad. Okay, Ahsanabad or Gulbarga between 1347 to 1425, when it was moved to Muhammadabad or Bidar. Gulbarga was considered as the first capital of this Bahmani kingdom. Fine. The Bahmani kingdom was founded in which of the following years? Okay, so it was founded in the year 1347. Bahmani kingdom was a Muslim state of the Deccan in southern India. Discussion करथिले हमें was one of the greatest medieval Indian kingdoms. It was founded by Alauddin Hasan of Bahman Shah in 1347. It was the first independent Islamic kingdom of South India. Bahmani capital was Ahsanabad, जोटा कहथिले मु गुलबर्गा, first capital between 1347 to 1425. It was founded by Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah in 1347. Fine. Which of the following was the first capital of Bahmani kingdom? Koda, Gulbarga. Okay. Then next question. Bahmani capital was Hasanabad, Gulbarga. এটা তো কইছো आपनको. Who among the following was founder of the Bahmani kingdom in Deccan? Who among the following was the founder of the Bahmani kingdom in Deccan? Okay. So Hassan Gang or Hassan Gang is the founder of Bahmani kingdom in Deccan. Consider the following statements that are related to Bhakti movement. Okay, the question is here about Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement originated as a reaction against caste division, untouchability, and ritualism in India. This one is correct. Devotion was the pivotal point in the Bhakti cult in uniting human soul with God. So the answer is C. Both 1 and 2 is correct. Let us have a brief look into the Bhakti movement. The term Bhakti refers to devotion. As a movement, it emphasized on the mutual intense emotional attachment and love of a devotee towards a personal God and of the God for the devotee. Okay, the attachment or the love that shows, that is devotion. This movement originated in South India in 7th to 10th century. Most of the poems of Alvars and Nayanars, Alvars and Nayanars. These poems were composed in Tamil. Okay. The poems were addressed to Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva respectively. So Alvar were worshipping or Alvar with respect to Vishnu and Nayanars with respect to Shiva. Bhakti soon spread in North India, appearing most notably in 10th century. Okay, a Sanskrit text of the Bhagavad Purana or Purana. It swept over the east and north India from 15th century onwards, reached its peak in 15th to 17th century. The Bhakti saints moved against the austerities propagated by the Buddhist and Jain schools and professed that ultimate devotion to God was the means of salvation. Okay. So Bhakti movement is basically devotion, or Bhakti means that is devotion towards the God. Reasons behind the movement. कौन पाई ये reason माना movement start हला. The movement started as a response to the evil practices. Remember, evil practices that had crept into Hinduism. Some of the other reasons which fueled the spread of the movement across the country were the spread of Islam, then emergence of great reformers, influence of Sufi sects, and influence of Vaishnavism and Shaivism ideologies. With the ideology or the influence of Vaishnavism and Shaivism, these are the factors that influenced or the reason behind the movement, Bhakti movement. Fine. Nayanars or Alvars were the Tamil poet saints who played an essential role in the propagation of a Bhakti movement in the southern part of India during 5th to 10th centuries. Alvars bestowed their belief and devotion towards Lord Vishnu. The poetry of the Alvars echoes Bhakti to God through love. And in the ecstasy of such devotions, they sang hundreds of songs which embodied both depth of feeling and felicity of expressions. The collection of their hymns, mantras, okay, is known as Divya Prabandha, the Bhakti literature that sprang from Alvars has contributed to the establishment and sustenance of a culture that broke away from the ritual oriented Vedic religion and rooted itself in devotion as the only path of salvation. Okay, so ଆପଣ ଟିକେ କୋଅପରେଟ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ, ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ୍ ଦେଉଛି so that କି this will be useful for both the cases, whether you are preparing for prelims or mains. Okay, those who are really preparing, they will understand कि ମୁଁ କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା କରୁଛି. Fine. Nayanars bestowed their belief and devotion to Lord Shiva. Okay, among the Nayanars, the poet Nana Champantar, Upper, and Chuntaramurti, often called the three. Okay, trio जो कहूँ हमें trio are worshipped as saints through their images in southern or South Indian temples. In the 10th century, Nambi Andar Nambi collected the hymns of Nayanars in an anthology called Teveram. Fine. Next question, select the correct statements which are that are related to Kabir. He was a disciple of Ramananda and the most liberal among. Sorry for the disturbance. ରାତିରେ ଭିଡ଼ିଓ ସୁଟ୍ କରୁଛି, still we have disturbances. ओके, ମୁଁ ଭିଡ଼ିଓକୁ କାଟିକି ଆଉ ଥରେ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁନି, ସୋ ପ୍ଲିଜ୍ କୋଅପରେଟ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ. Okay, so select the correct statements that are related to Kabir. He was the disciple of Ramananda and the most liberal among the medieval Indian reformers. Okay, so एटा तो ठीक अच्छी कि कबीर जदि आमे देखिबा कबीर he was the disciple of Ramananda and the most liberal among medieval Indian reformers, and he was possibly a contemporary of Aurangzeb. So the answer is only one. Okay, which of the following statements is not correct about Andals? So ମୋ आंसरटा कहि देछि आपनको. Andal was the Oman Nayanars. Okay, Andal was the Oman Nayanar. She incorporated the prevailing caste system in the society. Okay, so which of the following statement is not correct about this one is incorrect. कौन था correct? Andal was a Oman Alwar. The most striking feature of her compositions were widely sung and continue to be sung to date. Andal saw herself as beloved of Vishnu. Her verses express her love for the deity माने God or Bhagavan. Andal saw herself as the beloved of Krishna. Her verses express her love for the deity. Okay, basically पूजा करा होतिला और तार प्रायोरिटी and importance टा अछि. So question number 11, consider the following. The tripartite struggle was between Pratiharas, Palas and Rashtrakutas. Fight was to acquire supremacy over Kannauj. अच्छा, ए माने फाइट करथिले. This one is right, correct. Okay, Kannauj गोटे prominent place थिला. So with respect to तांको जो पावर टा शो करबा पई. ओके, कनौज को कैपिटल करबाटा एटा गोटे सिंबल प्रेस्टिज थिला इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स. फाइन. सो आंसर इज बोथ सी, आई मीन बोथ 1 and 2. Okay, then coming to next question. Local self-government was the basic feature of administration of which of the following dynasty in early medieval India? So एटा होची आपनकर चोला. आपन पढ़िथिबे कि लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट जोटा 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, local self-government in India. Consider the following statement related to Dara Sikhoy. Sikhoy कहते Dara Sikho, Dara Sikho. Okay. So Dara Sikho was the eldest son of Shahjahan. This one is wrong. Dara Sikho was the devotee of Qadri Silsila. So এটা ঠিক আছে. Okay, the answer is এটা भी ঠিক আছে. Sorry, son of Shahjahan. So the answer is both 1 and 2 are incorrect. I mean according to the question. Okay. Which Sikh Guru was executed by Aurangzeb? So Tegh Bahadur was executed by Aurangzeb. Tegh Bahadur was born in Amritsar on 21st April 1621 to Mata Nanki and Guru Hargobind, the sixth Sikh Guru who raised an army against the Mughals and introduced the concept of warrior saint. किए करथिले तेग बहादुर. Fine. As a boy, Tegh Bahadur was called Tyag Mal because of his ascetic nature. He spent his early childhood in Amritsar under the tutelagi pronunciation to manage karantu of Bhai Gurdas, who taught him Gurmukhi, Hindi, Sanskrit and Indian religious philosophy, while Baba Buddha trained him in swordsmanship, archery and horse riding. Fine. He was only 13 when he distinguished himself in a battle against the Mughal chieftains. His writings are housed in the sacred text Guru Granth Sahib in the form of 116 poetic hymns. He was also an avid traveler and played a key role in setting of preaching centers throughout the Indian subcontinent. During one such mission, he founded the town of Chak Naki in Punjab, which later became the part of Punjab's Anandpur Sahib. In the year 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur was executed in Delhi under the order of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. With reference to the religious history of medieval India, the Sufi mystics were known to pursue which of the following practices? Okay. So question number 15. अच्छा ऑप्शनटा कौन अच्छी मेडिटेशन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ breathe, then severe ascetic exercises in lonely places, reaction of holy songs to arouse a state of ecstasy in their audience. Codes given below. Okay, so यार आंसर होची 1 2 and 3. ओके मेडिटेशन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ ब्रीथ एटा करथिले सूफी मैस्टिक्स नोन टू परस्यू माने कोन कोन करथिले ठीक अछि सिवियर एसेटिक एक्सरसाइजेस इन लोनली प्लेसेस एंड रिएक्शन ऑफ होली सॉन्ग्स टू अराउज ए स्टेट ऑफ एक्सटेसी इन देयर ऑडियंस. कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. Bijak is a composition of the teachings of Saint Dadu Dayal. The philosophy of Pushti Marg was propounded by Vallabhacharya. Which of the statement given below is a correct Kochi? So the correct statement is only 2. Okay, the philosophy of Pushti Marg was propounded by Vallabhacharya. Only 2 is the answer. B. Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri. Okay, Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri was कौन थिला एटा एटा तो समस्त को जाना थिबो the hall in which Akbar held discussions with scholars of various religion. Okay, किए करथिले Akbar? Remember, Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri is related to Akbar for the discussion, I mean religious discussion with scholars. The Ibadat Khana or house of worship was a prayer or a meeting room built by Akbar at his place in Fatehpur Sikri. It was built to gather spiritual leaders in different religious grounds so as to conduct a discussion on the teachings of the respective religious leaders. Locals and visitors to the city were often invited to participate in debate and discussions in this room. Fine. In medieval India, the designations Mahatara, Pattakila were used for village headman. Okay, Mahatara and Pattakila. These designations were used for village headmen during medieval India. Fine. Consider the following statements related to Aurangzeb. So, Aurangzeb abolished Rahdari, Pandari and pilgrim tax. Then Aurangzeb discontinued the practice of inscribing the kalima on the coins. Which of the statements each above are correct? Kochi, koda correct achi. Fine. So only 2 is correct. Okay, Aurangzeb discontinued the practice of inscribing the kalima on the coins. Aurangzeb he assumed the title of Alamgir or the world conqueror. His military campaigns in his first 10 years of reign were a great success. He suppressed the minor revolts, but he faced serious difficulties in latter part of his reign. The Jats and Satnamis also the Sikhs revolted against him. These revolts were induced by harsh religious policy. Aurangzeb was religious in nature, imposed jizya on Hindus. He was influenced by Naqshbandi Sufi orders. Prince Akbar rebelled against his father Aurangzeb, the son of Aurangzeb, Prince Akbar. In this connection, 9th Guru of Sikhs, Guru Tegh Bahadur, was executed by Aurangzeb. And okay, his Deccan policy of Aurangzeb was motivated by the policy of containing the growing influence of Marathas, the rebellious attitude of Shia kingdoms of Deccan like Golconda, then Bijapur, and to curtail the rebellious activities of his son Akbar, who had taken refuge in Deccan. Fine. Aurangzeb came to Deccan in 1682 and remained in the Deccan till his death in 1707. He annexed Golconda and Bijapur. In fact, the destruction of the Deccan kingdoms was a political blunder on the part of Aurangzeb. The barrier between the Mughals and the Marathas was removed, and there ensued a direct confrontation between them. Also, his Deccan campaign exhausted by Mughal treasury. Also his Deccan campaigns by tanga treasury, माने जेते ତାଙ୍କର ଧନ ସମ୍ପତ୍ତି ଥିଲା ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ଗ୍ରାଜୁଆଲି କମିବାକୁ ଲାଗିଲା, ଏକ୍ସଷ୍ଟେଡ୍. According to J.N. Sarkar, the Deccan ruler ruined Aurangzeb. Okay. The Marathas under Shivaji were threat to Aurangzeb. Okay. Shivaji was a very prominent, leader during the time of Aurangzeb, and for that reason, Maratha under Shivaji were a threat to Aurangzeb. Okay. Aurangzeb sent two of his great generals, Shaista Khan and Jai Singh, one after other, to capture Shivaji. Jai Singh captured Shivaji and took him to Delhi, but Shivaji managed to escape to Deccan. Shivaji, employing guerrilla tactics or warfare, defied the Mughal forces till his death at the age of 53 in 1680. Aurangzeb was severely tested by the Maratha till his death 1707 in Deccan. Okay. As the sons of Shivaji continued the rebellion. The death of Aurangzeb in 1707 marked a watershed in Indian history, as the Mughal Empire virtually came to an end. Though the weak successor of Aurangzeb held the thrones for though the weak successors of Aurangzeb held the throne for next 150 years. Fine. Hope you are not getting bored, and please cooperate. Consider the following statement related to Mughal architecture. Okay. So, Musamman Burj is situated inside the Fatehpur Sikri fort. Then Aurangzeb built Moti Masjid inside Agra fort. Which of the following statement each are incorrect statement? Okay. So the answer is B. This one is incorrect. Only sorry. Both 1 and 2 are incorrect. Okay. Musamman Burj is also known as the Saman Burj or the Shah Burj, is an octagonal tower standing close to Shahjahan's private hall, Diwan-e-Khas in Agra fort. Moti Masjid was built by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan during 1648 to 54 AD. It was built as a place of worship for royal members of the court, a mosque that shines like pearl. Okay, I think it's not visible. Shines like a pearl in the moonlight. Hence, the name Pearl Mosque or Moti Masjid is one of the oldest mosques in the city. The glorious mosque took nearly 4 years to complete and is built in a style that is typical to Shah Jahan's era of reign. Shah Jahan time रे बहुत गुड़ा जिनस तैयारी ହେଇଥିଲା. Fine. The masjid stands on the ground that slopes off from east to west to north of Diwan-e-Am complex. The structure contains 3 huge domes of high architecture values. These 3 Hindu-style domed kiosks have been constructed using the white marble and the rest of the exterior building made out of the sandstone. Sandstone रे तैयारी ହେଇଥିଲା. Okay. The battle of Chandawar was fought in the last decade in 12th century between which among the following rulers? Okay, so it was fought between Muhammad Ghori and Jai Chand. Fine. The battle of Chandawar was fought between Muhammad Ghori and Jai Chand of Kannauj of the Gahadawala Gahada Gahadawala dynasty in 1904. It took place the Chandawar in modern day Chandawar near Firozabad of on the Yamuna river close to Agra. The victory of this battle gave Muhammad control of much of the northern India. Fine. The king was freed from his people. Eta samasangku mane ei ithri jana padtibo. The king was freed from his people and they from their king. Okay, so the answer is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Tughlaqi Farman. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the most controversial personality in the medieval history. He was a learned, cultured and talented prince but gained a reputation of being merciless, cruel and unjust. Okay. He was very tolerant in religious matters. His innovative reforms brought him bad name as they were not executed properly. Fine. During the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Vijayanagar 1336 and Bahmani 1347 emerged. Ibn Battuta, a Moroccan traveler, okay, visited Tughlaq. He recorded his observations in his book Kitab ul Rihla. Later he was sent to China as ambassador of Tughlaq. Kiye? Ibn Battuta. Okay. He added Jahanpanah city to Delhi. Token currency. Okay, token currency. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, not Tughlaq, Tughlaq orders his brass coins to pass for silvers in 1330. He introduced token currency or copper coins. His main aim was to save precious metal like gold and silver and introduce more money in circulation. For this reason, copper coins were issued which had the same value as silver tanka. But minting the copper coin was not retained as monopoly of the government. Okay. The goldsmith माने जो माने तैयारी करती लोहा काम करती कि ये काम करती began to forge token coins on a large scale. Soon the new coins were not accepted in the market. Fine. Finally, the Sultan stopped the circulation of token currency and promised to exchange silver coins for the copper coins. Many people, এটা ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଜଣା ଥିବ कि ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ହେଇଥିଲା ସିଲଭର କଏନ୍ ଜାଗାରେ କପର କଏନ୍ ଜାଗାରେ ସିଲଭର କଏନ୍ ଦିଆ ହେଉଥିଲା. Many people exchanged the new coins but the treasury became empty. Transfer of capital ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ମାନେ କ'ଣ ତାଙ୍କର steps ନେଇଥିଲେ. ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି. Transfer of capital to safeguard the capital from Mongol invasion and to have better control over the South India, Sultan decided to shift capital from Delhi to Devgiri or Dauladabad. Delhi to Devgiri or Dauladabad. He desired to shift the entire population. Barani says not a cat or a dog was left. The reason for the move were very practical, but the method adopted was impractical. Both लोग सफर होते. Fine. Entire population was made to travel around 1500 kilometers to Dauladabad. Many people died during the rigorous journey in the summer. After 2 years, the Sultan abandoned Dauladabad and asked them to return to Delhi. Then increase in taxes. The area between Ganga Yamuna Doab, Ganga Yamuna Doab was very fertile. Hence, the Sultan decided to raise tax so as to enhance the revenue of his empire. Fine. Although it was a practical decision, the tax hike was too steep and introduced during a time of no rainfall. No doubt it was a doab, but as it was having no rain, so there was no production. Okay. Agricultural reforms. He launched a scheme by which Takavi loans or loans for cultivation were given to farmers to buy seed and extend cultivation. A separate department for agriculture, Diwan e Kohi. Remember this one. Separate department for agriculture, Diwan e Kohi was established. Okay. Department for agriculture, Diwan e Kohi was established to curb the rebellion of Taghi. Tughal entered into Sindh desert and died due to sunstroke at Thatta in 1351 AD. Fine. Which of the following officers was not associated with the administration of the cities in the Mughal Empire? এটা তো জানা থিব ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ. Najim. Okay. Which historian has spoken of a tripartite relationship between jamindars, jagirdars and peasants as the reasons for the crisis of the Mughal Empire and its decline? किए कहिथिले? सतीश चंद्र कहिथिले. Fine. Goa and Konkan regions were annexed to Vijayanagar Empire during kaha time re? During the reign of Harihar II. Okay. Harihar II was a Yadava emperor of the Vijayanagar Empire from the Sangam Dynasty. He patronized Kannada poet Madhura, a Jaina. An important work of Vedas was completed during his time. He earned the title of Vedika Marga Satpancharya and Vedamarga Pravartaka. Fine. Arrange the following expeditions of Sher Shah in chronological order. Okay. So this is first one is Mewar, second one is Raishin, then Marwar and Kalinjar. First one is Mewar. 3142. Okay. First one is answer. Farid. Okay. So now we are going to have a brief about Sher Shah. Farid, who later came to be known as or called as Sher Khan, or subsequently known as Sher Shah, was the son of Jagirdar under the kingdom of Jaunpur. His father Hasan Khan Sur held the Jagir of Sasaram in Bihar during the rule of Lodhis. After defeating Humayus, he became the sovereign ruler in the year 1540 and assumed the title of Sher Shah. Okay. Sher Shah. After a gap of 14 years, Sher Shah succeeded in establishing the Afghan rule again in India in 1540. Lodhis were the first Afghan to rule. Fine. Sher Shah and his successors ruled for 15 years. The period is known as the period of Second Afghan Empire. He defeated and conquered Malwa in 1542, which was followed by Chanderi. In Rajasthan, he led campaigns against Marwar, Ranthambore, Nagaur and Ajmer, Merta, Jodhpur and Bikaner. He defeated rebellious Afghans in Bengal. By 1545, he had established himself as the supreme ruler from Sindh to Punjab to whole of Rajputana in the west and the Bengal in the east. Fine, covering a very large section. Now he turned towards Bundelkhand. Here, while besieging the fort of Kalinjar, he died in 1545. Accidental blast of gunpowder. Fine. Remember Sirsa. After Sirsa's death in 1544, the successors ruled till 1555 when Humayun conquered India. He made his government highly centralized. The king was assisted by important ministers like Diwan e Vijarath. এটা तो क्वेश्चन इंपोर्टेंट अपन सुनिथिबे देखिथिबे. Diwan e Vijarath are called as wazir in charge of revenue and finance. Diwan e Arj charge of army. Diwan e Rasalat foreign minister and Diwan e Insa minister of communication. Okay. Sirsa's empire was divided into 47 sarkars. Chief Sikdars, law and order, and chief munships, judge. Yanku ଆଉ କିଛି ବି ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିଲା. Were the two officers in charge of administration in each sarkars. Okay, 47 sarkars ଥିଲା ତାଙ୍କର. ଆଉ 47 sarkars ରେ chief Sikdars ଆଉ munships ବି ରହୁଥିଲେ. Each sarkar was divided into several parganas. Okay, sarkar into parganas. Sikdar or military officers and Amin land revenue. Then Fotedar treasurer. Karkuns accountants were in charge of the administration in each pargana. Fine. Sirsa had also improved the communication by laying 4 important highways. They were Sonargaon to Sindh, Agra to Burhampur, Jodhpur to Chittor and Lahore to Multan. 4 highways. Fine. किए करथिले Sirsa. He extended the Grand Trunk Road from Chitgaon in the frontier of the province of Bengal in northeast India to Kabul in North Bengal to Kabul in Afghanistan in the far northwest of the country. Malik Muhammad Jayasi wrote the famous Hindi work Padmavat during his reign. किए लिखिथिले मलिक मोहम्मद जयासी कौन लिखिथिले पद्मावत हिंदी लिखिथिले. Fine. He started building a new walled city in Delhi, which later came to be known as Purana Killa. Okay, old fort. He built his own mausoleum in Sasaram, Bihar. Mausoleum माने कौन? A mausoleum is an external freestanding building constructed as a monument enclosing the interment space or burial chambers of deceased person, death person, a people. A mausoleum without the person's remains is called as कौन को है cenotaph. Fine. Given below are 2 statements, one labeled as assertion and other labeled as reason. Okay, so Rajput enrolled in large numbers in Akbar's Tawhid e Ilahi. Then Tawhid e Ilahi. Akbar's alliance with Rajputs began as a political condition, but later it developed into closer relations between Hindu and Muslims, Rajput and all. A question रे doubt अछि. Okay. हम next session रे discussion करिबा next session रे. Fine. 28. Which of the following emperors disapproved the practice of polygamy by saying that polygamy brings ruin the man's health and woes to his home? এটা আকবর करथिले. Fine. আকবর. Petra Dura. Okay. এটা হচ্ছে পেন্টিং পিউট্রা ডিউরা ইয়াকে পিউট্রা ডিউরা কুয়া যায় প্রনাউন্সিয়েশন টিকে মানে ডিফর করে এ ডেকোরেটিভ স্টাইল ওয়াজ এডাপ্টেড ইন দ মুঘল আর্কিটেকচর फ्रॉम द रेन ऑफ का टाइम रे शाहजहां रो टाइम रे करा होतिला ना हुमायूं रो टाइम रे करा होतिला ना आपनकर औरंगजेब टाइम रे करा होतिला कोंदो जहांगीर फाइन given below are two statements. Acha, the focal point of Maratha political system was the institution of hereditary Peshwa. Then Bajirao changed the character of Maratha movement from struggle for national survival to empire building. In the context above, of which one of the following code is correct? Coda correct achi. Kondu. देखो धीरे ठीक अच्छे कि द फोकल पॉइंट ऑफ मराठा पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम वाज द इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ हेरिडेटरी पेशवा है स्टार्टिंग रे हेरिडेटरी थिला परे पुणी ताकू माने चेंज करा हेतिला एंड बाजीराव चेंज द कैरेक्टर ऑफ मराठा मूवमेंट फ्रॉम स्ट्रगल फॉर नेशनल सर्वाइवल टू एम्पायर बिल्डिंग दीर जाक ठीक अच्छे बट आंसर इज बी बोथ ए एंड assertion and reasoning are true but R is not the correct explanation. Fine. Who separated the office of wali and amir? किए करथिले? मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक. Which one of the following pair is not correctly matched? कोड़ा मैच करनी अकबर सर थॉमस रो. ओके ये शुणी आप विलियम हॉकिंस एंड थॉमस रो. देन दिन ए इलाही वाज प्राइमरीली कौन थिला द रिटेरेशन ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ यूनिवर्सल हार्मोनी. दिन ए इलाही एटा अछि रिटेरेशन माने कोन द एक्शन ऑफ रिपीटिंग समथिंग टिपिकली एम्फासिस और क्लैरिटी. शिवाजी conquered many forts which was first कोडा थिला एटा थिला खानदेशी. ओके खानदेशी सॉरी खानदेशी. Fine. Shivaji. Okay, he was born on 19th February 1630 at Sivneri Fort in district Pune, is the present day state of Maharashtra. He was born to Sahaji Bhosle. Okay, Sahaji Bhosle, a Maratha general who held the Jagirs of Pune and Supe under the Bijapur Sultanate and Jijabai. Okay, sorry, Jijabai, a piece woman whose religious qualities had a profound influence on him. Early life कौन थिला? He displayed his military zeal for the first time in 1645 when a teenager successfully got control over the Torna fort, which was under Bijapur. He also acquired He also acquired Kondana fort. Both these forts were under Adil Shah of Bijapur. Fine. Military administration. Shivaji organized disciplined and efficient army. The ordinary soldiers were paid in cash, but the chief and army commander were paid through Jagir grants. Okay, कौन कुहाଯାଇଥିଲା याको सरंजाम सरंजाम और मुकासा. Fine. The army consists of infantry, then Mawali fort of soldiers, cavalry, horse riders, equipment holders, and navy. Conflicts with Mughals. He raided Mughal territory near Ahmednagar and Junar in 1675. Aurangzeb responded to the raids by spending Nasiri Khan. Okay, sorry, not spending. Aurangzeb responded to the raids by sending Nasiri Khan, who defeated the forces of Shivaji at Ahmednagar. Fine. Shivaji defeated a large force of Sahista Khan, Aurangzeb's maternal uncle, and the Bijapur army in Pune in 1659. Okay. In 1664, the wealthy Mughal trading port of Surat was sacked by Shivaji. In June 1665, the Treaty of Purandar was signed between Shivaji and Raja Jai Singh. এটা আগেও আমি কোশ্চেনটা দেখিଥିଲି ট্রিটি অফ পুরন্দর শিবাজী এন্ড রাজা জয় সিং রিপ্রেজেন্টিং কিଏ ଇଏ ରାଜା ଜୟ ସିଂ କାହା କରିଥିଲେ ଔରଙ୍ଗଜେବ. As per his treaty, many forts were relinquished to the Mughals and it was agreed that Shivaji would meet Aurangzeb at Agra. Shivaji also agreed to send his son Sambhaji as well. Fine. Central administration कौन थिला? It was founded by Shivaji for the sound system of administration, which was greatly inspired from the Deccan style of administration. Most of the administration reforms were inspired from Malik Ambar reforms in Ahmednagar. Okay, Malik Ambar reforms in Ahmednagar. The king was the supreme head of the state, who was assisted by a group of 8 ministers known as अष्टप्रधान. ओके, अष्टदिग्गज इज ए होल डिफरेंट थिंग. आपण कन्फ्यूज हेबिनी. अष्टदिग्गज गोटे अच्छी आउ अष्टप्रधान अच्छी. अष्टप्रधान हूँ आपंकर माने कार एक्जाक्टली मन पड़नी आगे क्वेश्चन अच्छे आम देखा. अष्टप्रधान हूँ आपंकर मिनिस्टर्स एंड अष्टदिग्गज होती आपंकर पोएट्स. ओके, द पेशवा ऑल्सो नोन एज मुख्य प्रधान originally headed the advisory council of the Raja Shivaji. Okay, revenue administration रे कौन अच्छी? Shivaji abolished the Jagirdari system and replaced it with Rayatwari system, and changes in position of hereditary revenue officials, which was popularly known as Deshmukhs, then Deshpande, then Patils and Kulkarnis. Okay, Shivaji strictly supervised the Mirazdar who had hereditary rights in land. The revenue system was patterned on the Kathi system of Malik Ambar, in which every piece of land was measured by a rod or Kathi. Okay, Kathi system. Chauth and Sara Deshmukhi. जोड़ा इंपोर्टेंट अच्छी मुझे आणिकी अच्छी आपन लागुथिबो माने गुडा जिंस डिस्कशन करा होची, एंड दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ माय डिस्कशन. आई कैन बेट ऑन इट. फाइन. चौथ एंड सारा देशमुखी वेर अदर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम. चौथ amounted for 1/4 of the standard, which was paid to Marathas as a safeguard against Shivaji's forces raiding non-Maratha territories. Okay, non-Maratha territories. Sara Deshmukhi was an additional levy of 10% demanded from areas outside the kingdom. Fine. Given below are two statements. कोड़ा कौन होची देखिबा. It was in Shahjahan's reign that the arts of dance and music reached its highest watermark. The next, it was a patron of arts and literature. Consider the above statements and select the correct answer from the codes given below. 35. So both are correct. It was in Shahjahan's reign, Shahjahan's time re art of dance and music reached highest watermark. He was the patron of art and literature. Okay, but not the correct explanation. Both A and assertion and reasons are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Find out the correct sequence of the rate of land revenue under Alauddin Vili, Firoz Tughlaq, Akbar and Aurangzeb. ହେଲା ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର 1D 1/2 1/4 1/3 and 1/2 ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି. Which one of the following is not the characteristic of Mughal painting? କୋଉଟା ନଥିଲା? ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର पोर्ट्रेट एंड मिनिएचर ता बाद कौन कौन था इनक्लूसिव ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल एंड माइस्टिक एलिमेंट्स थिला बेसिकली फॉर द प्रोपागेशन ऑफ इस्लाम एटा भी थिला एंड कोर्टली एंड एरिस्टोक्रेटिक. ओके, पोर्ट्रेट एंड मिनिएचर पेंटिंग नथिला. फाइंड आउट द स्टेटमेंट फ्रॉम बिलो व्हिच इज नॉट करेक्ट. कोटा करेक्ट नुह यांकठू. मराठा पॉलिसी अंडर द पेशवा गॉट ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इनटू क्लोज कन्फेडरेसी. माने कौन the Maratha polity. Okay, the Maratha polity under Peshwas got transformed into close confederacy. Find out the below which is not correct. So this one is correct. Heitila. Peshwa created a new class of Sardars in Swaraj areas. Eta bhi thik achi. The office of Peshwa became hereditary. This one is wrong. स्टार्टिंग रे हेरिडेटरी थिला बट लेटर हे नथिला. जदि डाउट थिबो प्लीज टिके चेक करिवे. ओके, चेक. ओरिजिनली द पेशवा डिड नॉट बिलोंग टू द रॉयल काउंसिल. एटा तो जणा देबो समस्त. ठीक अछि. कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स अबाउट अमीर खुसरो. अमीर खुसरो होची आपनकर he was disciple of the Sufi saint Sheikh Nizamuddin Aulia. এটা তো ঠিক আছে. Then he is said to have written several treatises on music. ঠিক আছে. His work Khazin ul Futuh deals with the reign of Sultan केक्युबाद कोटा अछि. केक्युबाद ठीक अछि. द म्यूजिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट सितार is regarded as his invention. So right answer is आपनकर B 1 2 and 3. Okay, the next question, which sultan of Delhi got Qutub Minar repaired, cleaned derelict of Hoj Khas and derelict and erected on its bank is spacious Madras. Okay, so the answer is Firoz Shah Tughlaq. फास्ट जिनस आपण देखिथिले माइंड को आस्थिबो. सॉरी, फास्ट जिनस आपण जेतेबेले देखिथिबे आपन माइंड को आस्थिबो कि जेतेबेले व्हिच सुल्तान ऑफ दिल्ली गॉट कुतुब मीनार रिपेयर्ड. एटा हेगला आपन फिरोज शाह तुगलक. विदाउट एनी डाउट गो फॉर इट. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he was born in 1309 and became Sultan of Delhi after the demise of his cousin Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, he was the third ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty that ruled over Delhi from 1320 to 1412 AD. He was in power from 1351 to 1388 AD. Fine. He used to pay his army in kind, land and not in real money. The British called him the father of irrigation department. Okay, extremely important. father of irrigation department because of the many gardens and canals were built during his time. Canal connecting Yamuna to the city of Hisar, canal connecting Satluj to Ghaggar, then Ghaggar to Firozabad. Fine. Canal connecting Yamuna to the city of Hisar, then canal connecting Satluj to Ghaggar, then Ghaggar to Firozabad. Fine. Taxes imposed under Firoz Shah Tughlaq कौन कौन थिला? खरज थिला, लैंड टैक्स इक्वल टू 1/10 ऑफ द प्रोड्यूस ऑफ द लैंड. सेकंड होची आपनकर जाकत थिला 2.5% ऑफ टैक्स प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ मुस्लिम्स. खाम वार बूटी टैक्स. तापर होची जजिया लेविड ऑन द नॉन मुस्लिम सब्जेक्ट्स. ओके, particularly the Hindus. Women and children were however exempted from the taxes. Fine. Also levied other taxes like the octroi tax, irrigation tax, garden tax, etc. Established Diwane Khairat for the welfare of the poor and needy. Then he established the Diwane Bandagan, welfare for the slave. He made sarais rest houses for the benefit of the merchants and other travelers. रास्ता रे गला लोग sarais तैयारी कराइतला. ठीक अछि. Then adopted the iqtadari system. Established 4 new towns: Firozabad, Fatehbad, then Jaunpur and Hisar. He established hospitals known as Darul Sifa, then Bimaristan and Sifa Khana. Fine. Okay, match the list. Kabir, then Surdas, Eknath and Tulsidas. ଏଇଟା ହେଇଗଲା ଆପଣଙ୍କର କବିର ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବିନୟ ପିଟକ. ଦେନ୍ ସୁରଦାସ ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଭ୍ରମର ଗୀତ. ଏକନାଥ ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବିଜାକ ଆଣ୍ଡ ତୁଳସୀଦାସ ହେଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଭବର୍ଥ Ramayana. Okay, so A is the answer. The next question. Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti, Multan. Then Sheikh Bahauddin Jakaria होची आपणकर अजमेर. देन शेख फरीद उद्दीन मसूद गंज ए सरकार होची आपणकर अजोदान. एंड शेख निजामुद्दीन औलिया होची दिल्ली. सो द आंसर इज ए. ओके, एटा आपन टिके माने पढ़िबे बेटर होबो. Which of the following foreign travelers visited in the court of Harihar I? किए आसथिले हरिहर I टाइम रे? Ibn Battuta आसथिले. Fine. Ibn Battuta was a traveler from Morocco. He came to India during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1333 to 1347. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was impressed by his scholarship and appointed Ibn Battuta the Qazi or judge of Delhi. Okay, he was ordered in 1342 to proceed to China. Ambassador हिसाब रे जाइथिले as the Sultan's envoy to Mongol ruler. Okay, his account is often compared with that of Marco Polo, who visited China and also India from his home base in Venice in the late 19th century. Ibn Battuta's book of travels called Rihla, written in Arabic, provides extremely rich and interesting details about the social and cultural life of the subcontinent in the 14th century. Got it? Consider the following statements. कौन अच्छी 44? The founder of Vijayanagar Empire was Harihar and Bukka. This one is correct. They constructed the capital of Vijayanagar on the bank of Indravati river. Answer is 1. Okay. Vijayanagar Empire, Vijayanagar or the city of victory was the name of both a city and an empire. The empire was founded in 14th century 1336 AD by Harihar and Bukka, Sangam dynasty. Okay. They made Hampi the capital city in 1986. Hampi was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. It stretched from the river Krishna in the north to the extreme south of peninsula. Vijayanagar Empire was ruled by 4 important dynasties, and they are Sangam, Saluva, Tuluva and Aravidu. Fine. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva and Aravidu. What do you mean by तुर्कने चहलगानी? तुर्कने चहलगानी मान कौन? ग्रुप ऑफ कौन? तुर्कने चहलगानी मान होची ग्रुप ऑफ 40 मिनिस्टर्स. Okay. He made Delhi not only the political and administrative center of the Turkish Empire in India, but also the hub of its cultural activity. It is worth noting that in the literature of the Sultanate period, Delhi is never referred to merely by its name. It is called either Hazrat-e-Delhi, the majestic Delhi, or the city Sahar. Okay. Who is the Sultan? Who is this Sultan? Okay. So এটা হচ্ছে আপনাদের ইলতুতমিশ. Iltutmish original name was Samsuddin. Okay. Was the son of Qutbuddin Aybak. His Mongol policy saved India from attack of Genghis Khan, shifted capital from Lahore to Delhi, then completed the construction of Quwwat-ul-Islam or mosque and the Qutub Minar, Quwwat-ul-Islam and Qutub Minar. Okay. Started feudalistic system of Iqtas and Iqtadaris, then created pact of 40 Muslim nobles, and he started coinage system and Delhi Sultanate, Tonka silver coin, then Biranj bronze coin and Jittal hochi apanଙ୍କର copper coin. ए दिरा तो आपण जानिथिबे. He nominated his daughter Rajia as his successor, Rajia Sultana. 47. He was the first Indian ruler to charge taxes on the income from land. He established a separate department called Diwan-e-Mustagraj for the same. His attempt to control market prices highly successful. Okay, किए थे लेटा तुगलक. Okay. Then given below, Arab invasions on India were successful. Reasons there was no political unity in North India. कोड हबो एटा जीवो Arab invasions on India were successful. हाँ एटा ठीक थिला. See, 1 is true but R is false. Okay, there was no political unity in North India. Which of the following regarding Chandelas is correct? The Chandalas ruled over Bundelkhand region from 4th to 6th century. Then Golconda and Bedar's forts were built by Chandelas. Okay, only one. The Chandelas were ruled over Bundelkhand region from 4th to 6th century. Fine. Bundelkhand, এটা দেখুন তো, এটা Chandelas. Okay. Bundelkhand has always been a source of contention among the various kings and dynasties who have ruled over it. Okay, previously this province was dominated by the Gupta Empire until 5th century AD, after which it was ruled by Gurjara Pratihara dynasty and finally by the Chandelas. According to the modern research, Chandelas were descended from the Gurjar, Huna and Central Asian tribes who crossed the northwest frontier and settled in the territory after fighting battles. They belonged to Chandravashini lineage of Rajputs. Initially, the Chandelas reigned as the vassals of Gurjara Pratihara's Kannauj. Although he accept the Pratihara suzerainty, the Chandela monarch Yashovarman became effectively independent in the 10th century. Fine. The Chandelas had grown into sovereign state by the time of his successor Dhanga emerged, as they fought battles with neighboring dynasties, particularly the Parmaras of Malwa. Their influence rose and fell. The Chandelas was subjected to invasion by northern Muslim kingdoms like Ghazni beginning in the year 11th century. Then following invasion, the Chandelas' power effectively disappeared around the beginning of the 13th century. Okay, which of the following statements are correct about Krishna Devaraya? Koda correct achi. So Krishna Devaraya he had to launch several expeditions against Portuguese. Okay, so ठीक अच्छी. Then he wrote Jambavati Kalyanam, a drama Telugu. This one is wrong. He built Vijayanagar. So the answer is 1 and 3. Okay.